All right, I gotta talk about this. Batman versus Ninja Turtles. This is something that 5-year-old me would have lost his mind over. It is just a weird crossover. Never thought it would get. I know it happened in Injustice, and I know this, that, and the third. Like anything can happen, blah blah blah. But just to actually see it and for it to actually be good and do both franchises justice is wild. And it's more interesting when you realize certain factoids about the Ninja Turtles, like Splinter is named Splinter because Stick, the guy, he's a reference to the guy who trained Daredevil, and then on top of that, the chemicals that gave the turtles their powers are technically the same chemicals that blinded Daredevil. So in a weird quasi way, this is actually a Marvel and DC collab movie, which is interesting. And I know that a lot of other collabs have happened, but this has probably been the most faithful to both series. And what I mean by that is it feels equally parts of Batman movie and equally parts of Ninja Turtles movie. And I'm just going to get into it. So the way it starts is effectively an overhead shot, like the old Batman cartoon, and it leads to a building. Barbara Gordon's in there, and she's getting shown this generator thing. The Foot attack, they need to steal it. And in the process of doing this, the Ninja Turtles have been tracking the Foot to Gotham City. And there's actually a funny line about how, well, Gotham and New York are basically the same because they are. Like Gotham takes place in New York, so it's kind of funny. And then she retells the events to Batman. While doing this, they both realize what the next target is, and in the process of that, Batman kind of abandons the building, so that there's no collateral damage or whatever. He's taking out the Foot inside. The Ninja Turtles are taking out Penguin and his goons outside, which leads to Mikey just full on banter. Mikey is the best character in this movie. He's just kind of in a weird way like how we are reacting to things in the movie. Like he just says it like, "Oh, his penguin's umbrella is a gun and a sword. This is amazing," and he's just losing it. Sees the Batmobile a little after this scene. Says he wonder what it's worth. Probably my soul, because that's what I would sell for it, which is just great. And Batman takes up the Foot inside. Like I said, they're fighting. The Ninja Turtles are fighting the Penguins goons outside. Batman goes 1v1 against Shredder, and Shredder just bodies Batman. Shredder in this movie is just intimidating. Like, I know he's supposed to be this scary, evil force in the Ninja Turtle comics, but it never comes across that way. Just he's a villain. When he took out Batman, like straight beat Batman to fight, and really could have probably killed Batman, but just tells him, just stay out of my way. This isn't about you. I got other stuff going on, and leaves. I was like, I need to see more of that. I need more Shredder versus Batman live action, preferably. Because imagine a guy who plays Scorpion fighting Robert Pattinson. Because take my money for that right now. And then it fast forward outside where Batman actually fights the Ninja Turtles. So it's not one of those versus movies where it has in the title like Batman v Superman, and you only get a little bit of it because they fight about 3 times in this movie, and I'll get to each one. So basically, what happens is they fight, they escape. Batman beats the Ninja Turtles after getting wrecked by Shredder, and then they all go and do research. Raph isn't on Batman's side, thinks it's part of it. They go figure out where Batman's lair is. Batman figures out who Ninja Turtles are, anticipates they're coming, or looks up research on them, I should say, because the Ninja Turtles really don't have secret identities. And then they go and then they talk about like Ra's al Ghul and then we find out Ra's al Ghul and Shredder are teaming up, and Damian comes into the fray. When the turtles come in to the Batcave, they fight Damian because Damian was just in the previous scene talking or watching the Ra's al Ghul Shredder collab team up interaction that we're seeing as the viewers. So they beat Damian. Batman comes in. They all agree, like, all right, we should join forces because we need to take them out. And then they go to Commissioner Gordon, who summons them because there's an alarm that goes off at Arkham because now Rage and Splinter, or not Splinter, I apologize, Rage and Shredder are in Arkham to go visit Joker, and he gives them the code or formula or whatever you want to call it for the Joker toxin, which I guess would make Arkham games canon because I can't think of another instance where they actually have the Joker toxin, except for, no, actually, no, I think it's just the games. If I'm wrong, let me know, but I really can't think of another instance. So now we have the animated series canon and the Arkham games canon. They're just taking everything and making it part of this ultimate universe, which is awesome because even Batman's uniform is like the 1960s Batman, and Damian Wayne's is the more modern Robin, so everything is canon. But to get the toxin from Joker, they go there to fight the Rogues Gallery because everyone's there. And also, interesting fun fact: Tara Strong is the voice of Riku and Harley Quinn in this, and Riku in Final Fantasy X too. And John DiMaggio, who is Marcus Phoenix and Waka from Final Fantasy X, They're both in this movie. So it's like a weird Final Fantasy reunion on top of everything else going on, which I thought was awesome. And Troy Baker is Batman and Joker, and he's doing his best Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill impersonations. God bless that man, because it's fantastic. So with all this happening, you fast forward to Arkham, like I was saying, and the Joker's deal with them was, I'll give you the code, you give me the formula, the TCRI, the ooze, in order to make myself and everyone error, you find out, into metahumans. That's the whole point of this movie is metahumans. Like Joker wants to make everyone a metahuman. Rage wants to own Gotham, and Shredder wants to go into the Lazarus pit. They all have a different goal, and it's just kind of like a means to an end, because Rage is completely disrespectful to Shredder the entire time, which I'm like, why doesn't he just beat the crap out of Rage? Because if you can take out Batman, there's no reason Shredder can't take out Raj. I'm sorry, it's just, there's no way you can tell me that's a fair fight at that point. And then before that, I got a little ahead of myself. When they were back in the Batcave and they were all collabing and going for this team up mission, Batgirl makes an anti-ooze, or whatever she wants to call it, but Donna keeps calling it an anti-ooze. They disagree on the name, but it was funny to me. So she has that. They have that, for lack of a better term, that Joker card in their back pocket, so that they can just kind of like get out of it. It's almost like a plot MacGuffin, which is fine. You need it for this, and just think it's weird that they could figure it out within 5 minutes. But again, this is a movie, so it would probably get stretched out longer if this was a cartoon or a TV show or something. So to get there, everyone's a metahuman. And it's kind of funny because each metahuman references what they are, where Mr. Freeze is a polar bear, Poison Ivy's a plant, Harley Quinn's a hyena, Joker's a snake. Poison Ivy being a plant is the funniest thing because her roots get embedded in the ground, and when they go to fight her, they just tiptoe around the room because they realize she can't reach her. And it's just comedic gold to me because like, oh, like imagine a boss fight in a video game where you could just do and get out. So they do this, and then all this is happening. They finally get to the end game, the boss of Joker and Harley Quinn, to take out everyone else or just avoid them, in Poison Ivy's case, like I was saying. And Batman gets turned into Man-Bat, effectively, which is kind of great because that's another metahuman. And then they have to fight him again as Man-Bat because he's incontrollable. He's basically Super Saiyan at that point. And then they throw it to Batman's taking out everyone. He has Mikey in the air. So they throw him the vial. Mikey goes to stab Batman. Batman grabs his hand, and Mikey just throws it to his other hand and stabs him. It's like a quick little like, oh, I'm just not dealing with this. And it just had me cracking up. So they turn Batman back to normal. They all go back to the Batcave. Batman gets up. He basically says the Ninja Turtles are reckless, so they're not coming. And they're like, fine, whatever, we're going to do our own thing. And Raph has his leader moment, which he never really does. And he basically is like, Batman, I understand you, but you need to listen to me. And like pulls Batman around. He's like, we're going to team. This is a family type thing. And Batman eventually reluctantly agrees with him. But it's just really funny because everyone in the room is just shook that Raph had the audacity to straight grab Batman. And even Batman was like, okay, I respect that. So then they agree to team up. They bring out the turtle van, which is another reference. They go and take out everyone else. The Batmobile is like a cool montage where they get to the thing. They have the big endgame brawl, and everyone has a rematch. It's the Turtles versus Rage, and Batman versus Shredder, and Mikey and Donnie are basically get taken out. Like Mikey's doing whatever, Raph's fighting other people. Mikey and Donnie get stuck trying to take out this machine they were trying to make to turn all of Gotham into metahumans and toxic and all this stuff. And then Batman's trying to take out Shredder. So they Street Fighter 2 the machine where it just explodes, comes back down, blows up the building. But before it blows up the building, the turtle or Leonardo beats Rage by straight kicking him in the dick, which is really funny because Rage is giving a monologue about how he's unfocused in this and a third, and Leonardo just straight kicks him in the dick after he already had him like dead to rights basically. And then Batman figures out how to beat Shredder by having a code word with the Turtles where he says cowabunga, and I didn't know how bad I needed Batman to say cowabunga until this movie, and it was kind of just freaking hilarious to see. So the good guys win effectively. Shredder, when he gets beaten by Batman, falls into the vat of acid or ace chemical thing like Joker. One other Easter egg before I go any further. In the fight with Batman, Shredder's mask is shattered, and you see the claw marks from the original 1990s Ninja Turtle movie, which again is another really good reference. There's a bunch of them in this movie, but he gets taken out, falls into ace chemical, like I said, building explodes, they leave, they have their happy like, oh thanks, you, me, fam, team up moment. evil's beaten, or so we thought, because there's a post-credit scene where Shredder comes out of the chemicals looking like Joker. So I need that sequel of Joker Shredder, hopefully in the Turtles neck of the woods, where Batman has to come help them and we see Splinter and everything else. Speaking of Splinter, not in the movie, he is in a flashback, but where's my boy Nightwing? Not here. I'm actually kind of annoyed with that because there's no reason you couldn't have had Nightwing in this movie, or even just a throwaway line or a flashback or something. Justice for Nightwing. But the whole movie is just really good. It's based off the 6-issue comic strip that came, or 6-issue comic series that came out a little bit ago. And it's just references to a lot of other stuff. Phenomenal cast, best crossover movie I've ever seen. Like I said, it literally does justice to both franchises. It left me wanting more. And really, I would just like to see an adaptation like this in live action. It's probably one of my favorite films that come out, comic book or anything else, in like the last 5 years, just because I'm a huge fan of the franchises as a whole. But just because they did it so right, even there's a unique style this whole film has, where it's a very minimalistic style, in certain shots where it's like high, like everything's all shadowed and darkened out, but the Ninja Turtles colored headbands or the logos of the other characters is just shining through. And even then, Mikey steals the show. Mikey's really funny. Just like I said, he's doing the audience interpretation of everything, but it's really good. And everyone just makes a lot of references, like in the like they keep calling them giant mutant toads and like other stuff, where it's like people in Gotham don't know what the Ninja Turtles are because they've never seen them. And just it goes like the movie doesn't really have a bad part or a misbeat. If you're a fan of them, your stuff you'll pick out. And even the end credits, it's done with care, because what they do is they take the old comic books and just superimpose and kind of like make fake versions of them, but it brings the older art style and brings everything into the fray. It just makes it feel lived in. If you're a fan of Ninja Turtles, you're a fan of Batman, fan of both, this is a fantastic film. Highly recommend. And just kid in a candy shop. Loved every minute of it. So if you guys watch it, let me know what you think. If there's anything left out, which there was, there's a million Easter eggs I just couldn't say off the top of my head, but like just certain things that stuck out I wanted to bring up. But like I said, guys, thanks for being here. I'll have another video up next Monday. I think I'm going to be getting to do these every week. So like always, like, share, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your enemies, let me know what you think, and have a good one. Be good people.